Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Abel Sanchez says people will find a way to discredit Canelo Alvarez, call him a bum after Golovkin beats him. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit that bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, and also the Patreon family. We are working. Now, fight I'm looking forward to, September 16th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. I was born ready. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. Good fight. I just read an interview from ringtv.com. I have linked to it in the description. Shout out to Ring TV. And Abel Sanchez, trainer of Gennady Golovkin, said a lot of very interesting things. I'm going to kind of paraphrase. Well, actually, I'll just read some of the quotes and then give my thoughts on it. Abel Sanchez says, "It's funny how everybody knows everything. It's funny, opinions are like you know what." He's obviously referring to the saying, assholes are like opinions, or opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. He's talking about kind of like social media age and how everybody, you know, can type their thoughts and things like that. And Abel said, and that's why I don't participate in that. Who cares? Experts everywhere. When journalists that make a living like I do doing this job ask, that's the difference. We have a responsibility and a job to do. So if you are asking something, now that's different. Ask away. I value your experience and boxing knowledge, so I will answer with the question. Do you think Jacobs is the second best middleweight in the world? If not, who beats him? Right? He goes on to say, Gennady Golovkin was grade A enough to beat the second best middleweight in the world. On to the next fight. Was Floyd old? Shane Mosley rocked him in May 2010. Marcos Maidana hit him a lot during their first bout in May of 2014. Is Andre Ward old? He got dropped by Kovalev in their last bout in November. Why weren't these questions asked? I'm glad that we have Canelo on such a high pedestal, but it has to be equal. When Gennady Golovkin was knocking out 23 in a row, that pedestal was a lot lower, according to the experts, because Golovkin was fighting bums. Canelo has his pluses and minuses, but after the fight, he will be a bum also if you listen to the experts. He also says, no, I just wish they would go back and read their stories. When has a fighter dominated a division like Triple G? I know experts say it's a weak division. The only time in boxing history you can tell me, I'll wait. Triple G has dominated, not just one. It really doesn't matter. We just need to keep winning. We are preparing for the toughest fight to date. By saying that every fight would be the toughest to date, is there a need to change anything and master in 8 weeks? Doesn't sound too smart. So, link in the description. That's what Abel Sanchez was saying. I want to give you the ego thoughts. And I really disagree with a lot of what he's saying here. And I'm going to explain why. See, that's what we do here. Boxingego. We don't just disagree with things arbitrarily. I'll tell you what I don't agree with particularly and why. Right? So for starters, it's like I notice this a lot of times when people argue. Like I had an ex-girlfriend that used to do this. To make her point, if you have a point, it should be easy to make. Like if you have a very solid, reasonable argument, then you don't have to go through the extremes to make that point. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people in boxing do that. They'll take Floyd Mayweather or whoever, whatever they're arguing against, they'll take the most extreme example of that and use that as their catalyst. They can't think of a pattern of this or this and that. Like, for example, Victor Ortiz, he gets called a quitter because not once, not twice, he has repeatedly showed behavior that's not really fighter-like. You know what I mean? Marcos Maidana, hey guys, you know, I'm a tree bro. I'm just too young. I don't deserve to be getting beat up like this. You were doing good. You knocked Maidana down 3 times. And he knocked you down, and then it's like, oh, whoa, this dude's fighting back. I'm out. I'm too young to be taking this punishment, right? Josecito Lopez, he was getting frustrated, so he started rabbit punching. Mayweather fight, he leaped off his feet and headbutted. Luis Collazo, it looked like he could have possibly gotten up, but he just stayed on all fours after a long layoff and then got counted out. You know what I mean? The Josecito fight, broken jaw, so he's like, nah, I'm good, right? This is why he has that stigma attached to him. You know what I mean? But when I look at Golovkin, and I'm just being honest, Golovkin is a good fighter. And stylistically, he does certain things offensively that make him hard to beat because he's a quality fighter, great jab, amateur experience. He's tough as nails, things like that. But you don't have to, I feel like Abel Sanchez is being extreme. Like, I really don't see people saying Canelo is a bum if Golovkin beats him fair and square. You know what I mean? Because this is the fight the public wanted and demanded. So if he beats him, then there's no bum to it. Canelo has a better resume than Golovkin. So who's out there is calling him a bum? Plus, he got one fight in over 160. And he was naturally big. Him and Golovkin were weighing about the same when they were doing WBC 30-day weigh-ins. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's extreme. I haven't seen it. And I have a popular channel, popular Instagram, etc. And I've never seen anybody who is even alluding to the fact that if Golovkin beats Canelo fair and square, like knocks him out or whatever, they're going to make excuses. But why I feel it's being extreme is because you look at Golovkin's resume and guys like Adama, who is that? Like, no bullshit. Who has watched an Adama fight since then? You know what I'm saying? Where is he? Where is Adama? You know how they have Where's Waldo? Where's Adama? Like, I haven't seen anything from him. I don't know that he like bounced back in his career and went on to do great things. I have literally, to me, he dropped off the face of earth. I have never heard from him since. Gregor's Proska, he ended up losing after, and I haven't heard from him since. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, to me, if he fought the guys that Canelo fought, for example, obviously, let's say they're all in the same weight division or whatnot, then I don't think there would be an issue. But when you fight, when your best opponents are your last two opponents, one being a welterweight, right, who's jumping up radically 2 divisions when he hasn't even cleaned house at welterweight, and then you fight Daniel Jacobs, who did suffer a knockout loss. Shout out to my dude Daniel Jacobs, and he's arguably the second best at the welterweight, but even that is a guy who has been stopped before. You know what I'm saying? And Jacobs did miles better than a lot of people expected him to do. I knew because I'd watched the comeback. He's the comeback kid. He has amateur pedigree. He's taller than Golovkin, power. You know what I mean? He has the mindset. He beat cancer, right? He didn't want to fight Sergio Moore in a rematch, but he said, okay, I'm going to clean up my work. And he did what he did in the first fight, but worse. He stopped him, knocked him down multiple times. So I knew Jacobs. And I know people that knew him from the amateurs and stuff. And they told me stuff. This is going to be a tough fight. So that's that. But the bottom line is, I don't really feel like anybody's going to discredit a clean win for Golovkin. I certainly won't. If Golovkin beats Canelo, bow, he's the man. Now, if you want to start making the pound for pound talks, okay, that makes sense. But beating like Gabe Rosado, Adama, guys like Gabe Rosado, it's no diss to him, but he was a 154 pounder. Now, I do know my boxing, so I know they tried to make that fight at a catchweight under 160, and Rosado was like, no, I don't want no excuses when I beat him, so I'll move up to 160. Rosado was sitting pretty, and this was kind of a changing point in his career. He had won like an eliminator, and he was in line for a title shot against the then champion Cornelius K9 Bundridge. You know what I'm saying? But he left 154 to pursue this, got the call, and him being a warrior, he moved up. So it's not even a shade, but that, like, you look at Rosado moving up, Ashita, his claim to fame was a win over a chinny James Kirkland at 54 without Ann Wolfe. You know what I mean? He moved up, and so oh, but he's a heavyweight now. I don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, when he fought Golovkin, he wasn't no heavyweight, and he wasn't even the biggest puncher. And who has he fought at heavyweight? Put him in with Deontay Wilder if he's a heavyweight, and see what happens. I'll bet a couple stacks that Wilder would stretch him at heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? So that's I don't know. I just don't agree with what Abel Sanchez is saying, because he's making it like experts are just like willing to call anybody Golovkin faces a bum. If he fought Andre Ward, I mean, unless you're hating or you just hate Ward, no one would have called Ward a bum. So it's really, I feel like the people he had fought, either they're good fighters but they hadn't been developed. Like Willie Monroe, he's a good fighter, but that was a big step up fighting the likes of Brian Vera. Count how many knockout losses Brian Vera has. You know what I'm saying? and winning versus Brian Vera, and then obviously stepping up to a Golovkin. You know what I mean? Fighting a guy like Dominic Wade, who struggled with the 41-year-old Sam Solomon, who has like 11, 12 losses and a bum knee. You know what I mean? And fighting Sam Solomon to like a split decision, and then your next fight is Golovkin. So it's not even just about the quality of opposition. It's where they were in their careers. Had Willie Monroe, he did all right in the fight. You know what I'm saying? But that's a huge. He didn't even fight. Like, okay, he's about to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He just fought Gabe Rosado. So that's different, because let's say he fought them guys and then fought Golovkin, he would be more equipped to deal with that. Same thing with David Lemieux. David Lemieux had no title defenses, and then he immediately fought Golovkin. So it shows his heart, but at the same time, clearly wasn't prepared. Now, David Lemieux, let's say he stayed champion, because he hasn't lost since Golovkin. So let's say David Lemieux became champion, beat Hassan Ndam, knocked him down 4 times, 6 times, whatever it was, right? And he fought the people he fought after Golovkin and didn't fight Golovkin right away. Let's say, so he fought Christian Fabian Rios. He fought against whoever else he fought. Marcos Reyes, knocked out Curtis Stevens. Then I'm not saying he would definitely beat Golovkin, but he would be more prepared as a champion, because that's several title defenses, and title defenses are experience. Like Deontay Wilder, if he fights Luis Ortiz, this is the best time, because at least if he has any shot to beat him, or if he ever had a shot to beat him, he should be confident as a champion. He had guys who are not as good as Luis Ortiz as title defenses. Now you step up to the big dog. Same thing with Anthony Joshua. So it's not rocket science. Eddie Hearn does a great job with Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. He fought the Eric Molinas, the Dominic Brazils, guys who pose some threat, but not the Klitschko threat. And then he fought Klitschko. David Lemieux didn't do that versus Golovkin. And that's just a fact to me. I mean, I don't really, if you think you could dispute it, have at it in the comment section. I think that is the biggest thing. So it's not just a matter of experts. I mean, I don't know what Abel's hearing or who said what, but to me, it's like, I don't think people are just going out on a limb purely to discredit Golovkin's opponents. But if you look at him, I don't like calling people bums and all that, name calling and all that, because these guys are still lacing them up, and I'm not lacing them up, so I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just saying, most people were tailor-made. If you look at what Golovkin does, well, most people were tailor-made for his. Be it they had to jump up in weight, be it they had never fought. Like, you know what I mean? You're fighting a guy with almost 400 and 350 amateur wins that's bigger than you, stronger than you, and he has more experience than you. You know what I'm saying? Like Dominic Wade or Willie Monroe. So it's, or guys coming up in weight like Ishida and Rosado. And what Abel Sanchez is saying, he's like, oh yeah, but there's never been a time in the middleweight division people are saying it's weak. But you break that down, listen to it. The middleweight is one of the richest, literally one of the richest fighting divisions in boxing history. If you know your boxing history, middleweight has all, you've had look who's been in middleweight. James Toney, Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, right? Roberto Duran. Look at the people who have actually fought at middleweight at some point in their career. You know what I mean? It's such a rich division that I can't, like, I'm not going to go year by year through history to find out, but I mean, just off the top of my head, middleweight's always been a cracking division. Sugar Ray Robinson, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Oscar De La Hoya, Tommy Hearns. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard fought at middleweight. Jake LaMotta, Carlos Monzon. Recently, Miguel Cotto kind of did at 159 catchweights. Gene Fulmer, like, I mean, Emil Griffin. He killed a man. I don't know. I think it might have been at middleweight where he killed him. You got to watch that Emil Griffin story, that documentary. That's excellent. I got to watch it again myself. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, again, I'm to rebuttal what Abel's saying there. Middleweight's been a rich division. So, like, I just named a million middleweights, and they're all from different eras. Like, Jake LaMotta didn't fight in Roy Jones Jr. era. So, you know what I mean? That's history. You always had these people, you know what I mean? The Sugar Rays and the Duran and Tommy Hearn, they are all in the same era. But James Toney and Emil Griffin, those guys are all different eras. So, again, I'm not going to go tit for tat, but I don't remember when the middleweight division wasn't popping, to be honest. I really don't. You know what I mean? Aside from when Golovkin fought. Because okay, put it this way. Name someone Golovkin beat at middleweight that you put up there, instant Hall of Famers, like Tommy Hearns, Jake LaMotta, and all them guys that I just named. You know what I mean? Roberto Duran's. Who do you put up there other than Golovkin? Hagler. Who do you put up there? You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts, my rebuttal. But I'm not taking away credit for whoever wins this fight. If they win fair and square, then it is what it is. I'm just happy to see it. So that's how I am. That's how I move. But that's my reasoning, and that's kind of my rebuttal to Abel Sanchez. Not really even about discrediting, but if you look at the facts, who is Golovkin beat that you think is prime? I mean, Daniel Jacobs is his best win. To me, that's his best win. And I don't even think he won the fight. And there's other people like that. Broner, Canelo, Deontay Wilder, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. All these guys said that they had Daniel Jacobs winning. You guys can Google it, do your fact checkers, check my work, and then find out that these people all said that, including me and other people. So your best win, your best step up in competition, the guy with the most momentum, the guy with the most tools to offset what Golovkin does well, some people have a question mark. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even Canelo Alvarez, I thought Erislandy Lara beat him. See, I'm very transparent. I thought he lost a lot of fight, but he didn't do horrible. And I'm not saying Jacobs or Golovkin did horrible with Jacobs. I just had him losing because, I mean, he was getting off with the jab. Jacobs didn't really have an answer, but I think overall, Jacobs was just overall doing more, putting together more punches, things like that. But Canelo also has good wins that aren't disputed. You know what I mean? Like the Miguel Cotto, there's not really dispute. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he just beat the shit out of him and moved up 10.5 pounds to do it. So I can't think of someone Golovkin fought that was that clean cut, that had that momentum, or that. It's not even just about momentum. It's also about who has some kind of stylistic advantage over you. And to me, a lot of the guys Golovkin fought did not have a stylistic advantage. They didn't have more experience. They weren't taller. They weren't stronger. They weren't a champion. You know what I mean? Like Martin Murray. Martin Murray, every time he stepped up to become a champion, he came up short. Whether it was controversial or not. Sergio Martinez, he came up short in Argentina. Felix Sturm, they said it was a draw. He came up short. Even after Golovkin, Arthur Abram, he came up short in all these fights. Gabe Rosado, I thought Gabe Rosado beat him. You know what I mean? So Martin Murray, there's guys that are solid, but when's he been a champion? You know what I mean? David Lemieux, the Willie Monroes, Dominic Wade, maybe they could have provided better fights, but they needed the experience behind it. But as far as the whole Canelo comment, I really don't see people, if Golovkin wins fair and square, I think it's just going to be that, and that's going to be a very solid win. That's my opinion, and you guys can hold me to that. Whoever wins Canelo Golovkin, that's a solid win for either guy, because they both present a stylistic threat to the other person that makes this fight compelling, and it makes us want to see a fight like this. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.